Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since the last video. I'm actually off for a week. Actually had a small stroke, if you may have seen that on Facebook. And so I'm off the whole week, and I've finally gotten back to where I feel myself again. And actually I've made it through the week just sitting here at home, not allowed to do anything. Making a lot of terrain has been what's kind of got me through. So I wanted to do a little bit of a channel update, and then I'm going to film some different videos so that we have some content going up all week on different topics. Some things that I've discovered this week through trial and error, some updates on what I've been doing. And so I just want to give you guys an update on what I've been doing. Overall, I know that there's been a great lack of videos. I have a lot of health issues, and hopefully a lot of those have been figured out and should be going up from here. One of the things I learned is that I do too much all the time, and so I'm going to be taking a break from a lot of things that I do to kind of overwork myself and do a lot more things that relax me, like train. So I know a lot of people, first of all, have asked me about part 2 of the mold making series. So I'm going to talk about that during this video and what has happened with that, why there's been such a big delay with that. And then we'll go into some different things I've been doing. First of all, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people that have been very helpful. Ben over at Ben's RPG, Brian, Gregory on YouTube. There's been several people that have really helped me out as far as techniques and processes and things, and so I can't remember everybody off the top of my head right now, but I'll make sure and put in the comments below. But there's been lots of people that have really kind of given me some tips and tricks and have really sped things up for me as far as making more pieces and painting and casting and the whole gamut. And then also, my wife has gotten hooked in it as well. So we're both Hearst Arts junkies now. We have become, our Etsy stores and eBay store are official. We got a reseller license, so we're now official, and so we have a reseller license, and we're selling pieces kind of as a side business, and hope to grow that substantially over the next year or so is our goal. So update on the silicone mold making process, part 2. I'm going to film part 2. The reason that there's been such a big delay, because I really thought I had the process down, and I guess you never really do, you're always learning. I have no interest in doing the method where you have to degas the silicone, so all of the self-degassing stuff, or the tin silicones is what I like to use. So Umu and Mold Max, things like that. So it's a little bit sensitive as far as like getting it mixed the right way. So one of the things that I've learned from the last time I made part 1, and part of the reason I didn't make part 2 was because a lot of my molds started falling apart. Through probably 50 casts or so, they started showing a lot of wear and tear. And you may have remember this was part of a much larger mold that I showed in part 1 of this series, and it actually just broke all the pieces. It has, it's got tears, it's got all kinds of just, I guess, deformities that are now coming through in my pieces. And then, of course, worst of all, it fell all to pieces. And so what I did was I did a controlled break and cut it so I could salvage this piece that still works, but even this is showing a lot of wear and tear. You can see a big chunk there. So I think what my issue was I was not getting it mixed properly. So you can see here, see all the blue in there? The bubbles are fine, I think, but the blue is the big issue. So where you see that blue is where I didn't get it mixed appropriately. And so anywhere there's blue in there, you can see that in this tear, there's a lot of blue in there. So that's where it didn't get mixed properly, and it didn't harden as well, because it didn't get it mixed as well as you're supposed to, and so that the chemical reaction could happen. And so that was a process. I wasn't able to see that on the surface of the mold very much. I would see little spots here and there where I had a little blue in the cup and poured it on the top, but I was not able to tell until I started seeing these molds come apart and actually cutting them into pieces how badly I was not getting everything mixed together. And so that was something I had to fix before I felt like I could go into part 2, because the purpose of these videos is to show you how to do something, and I don't want to show you wrong. And so I've worked on that. Also worked on some different, this is another mold I made for making treasure chests. Ran into some issues there with the mold release that I used was not drying properly. The little bottle of stuff that I was getting from Hobby Lobby, I was having to actually wipe it off to get it completely off, because it was leaving residue, which resulted in, I don't think I have any here, resulted in, like, this is a treasure chest mold. So all of these are the rounded treasure chests. because that's our most popular item on Etsy. We sell several dozen a day, and so I have to make a lot of them and paint a lot of them. And so I made a mold where I can make 12 of the chests at one time. Everything worked perfectly. I got it mixed together. It's a very hard, solid mold. Got everything mixed really, really well. No blue showing through at all in here. Got a little just streaking where we poured out the bottom of the cup in here. So very, very, very good mold, but the mold release actually caused issues, and so the chest actually has little tiny tumors on them. That's what it looks like, little like negative bubble spaces, and so not a good mold. So again, delayed part 2 because I needed to figure out those issues. And so now what I've done is I've moved up from Umu 30 to Mold Max 30, and now I am, I've been talking to some people online, Brian on YouTube, and then Lady Sabelle in the Hearst Arts forums about the new Mold Max 14 NV, which is a white mold. It's much more flexible, or silicone, and so I've got some of it coming in tomorrow. And so when I make the molds tomorrow and Saturday with it for the first time, I'm going to go through and film part 2 with that process. It's going to be the exact same process as far as pouring and everything. The mixing is different because you have to measure it exactly, but as far as pouring, it'll be the exact same process. So I will film part 2 this weekend to show you guys. This is another mold that I made just the other day. I thought was interesting. I sell a lot of these doors that's in mold. I think at $2.82 it is. So it's a little dungeon door. Let me see that. So a little dungeon door. I think I showed that in part 1. And so I needed a mold to make this as one piece because I was having to cast 282 twice. I then had to put the pieces together. Then I had to paint it, had to seal it, and then mail it off. And I sell quite a bit of these, and 2 or 3 at a time. And so what I did was I used Smooth Cast 300. This is the plastic, the urethane plastic, or urethane, I think I consider it plastic. Yeah, it's a urethane plastic from Smooth On again. This is a 1-to-1 mixture, so you can see here 1A to 1B. This is awesome stuff. You can check out Dungeon Master Mark's channel. He has a video of actually him pouring one of the accessory molds, and so you can see how it works. You mix it up 1-to-1, and then within 3 to 4 minutes it starts turning white, and then within 15 minutes it's solid white plastic, almost like a toy you buy in the store. So I made a master that way of the whole piece all together. Then made this mold, which I actually made by sitting this master on a piece of MDF, or Masonite, I mean. Then you seal that down with super glue, spray the whole thing with mold release, put a cup over it, and then cut the top out of the cup, and pour everything in. And got that method from Custom Terrain on YouTube. I thought that was ingenious, because then what happens is whenever you have the mold, so you pop that mold off, and you've got this. You have to cut it down the sides so that it'll work. So about 2/3 of the way down, you cut it so you can get your piece out because it's really detailed. But whenever you go to pour plaster in it, or plastic, then you just pop it in a solo cup, and that holds the thing together. So it's got a really, really good seal. You can see it sealed there. And then you pour your plaster in there. I use Merlin's Magic, so wait about 15 minutes or so, and then it's good to go. You open it up carefully, just don't rip it all the way through, so you can see inside there. And then, so this was the master, and then you get this. So it works really, really well. And then once that's done, then I paint them. So that's what it looks like painted. And then that's got a matte sealer on it as well. It's got a nice flat bottom on it. And so I do those in sets. So this is our gold version. This is the iron or black version. And this is we also do metallic colors on the Etsy store. So this is the metallic green. I thought that looked kind of cool. And then there's bronze, copper, all the different metal colors that are available on our other products. And so those are doing pretty well on the store. Now I'm able to knock them out. We actually just had someone that ordered 10 of these, and so we were able to cast all 10 of them in a night, let them dry overnight, and then pop them in the mail. And they wanted them unpainted so they could paint them themselves, and so that works really, really well. Really nice turnaround. And then whenever you're ready to go, you just put some wet water in there, rinse it out, pop it back in the cup, pour it. And the cool thing about this is because there are some little overhangs here, little areas that there could be bubbles that get in there. So you do want to vibrate it pretty well. And so when you do this, since it's in a cup, I'm not going to shake this on the table because it may knock my camera over. But what you can do is once you pour the plaster in here, then you smack it on the table like this, and then all those bubbles just come straight to the top, and you don't have to worry about it. So anyway, but we'll cover that in part 2. So that's just kind of general update. Should be back on my feet now. Should be making videos every week as I originally intended. We're making lots of really cool things. And so that's where we are, and that's where we are with part 2 as well, because I know a lot of people have been asking me where part 2 is for the silicone mold making. So I'll get that up this weekend for you guys, and if you have any questions once I get that posted, then let me know. I've made, I don't know, probably 20 different molds now, different ways, different products, and I think I've got the knack of it now, so I feel comfortable enough to do part 2. So I'm sorry about that delay, but I wanted to make sure that I got quality content out that was actually usable for you guys for good results, so you can make some cool stuff. So until then, that's all I've got for you. All right, see you guys soon. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, and also check out our Etsy store. It's cicadacrafts.com, and I'll put a link in the description. Thanks, guys.